Dr. Reem Al-Mualla is a Bahraini marine biologist by profession, a nature lover by default, a climate advocate by concern, and the brain behind Be Nature. In Bahrain, she served as the National Project Manager for the revision of the National Biodiversity Strategy and Action Plan project. She worked on establishing the preliminary foundation for the implementation of the Cartagena Protocol on Biosafety. Reem led the first socioeconomic study of its kind in Bahrain on the Northern Hayrat, which was inscribed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2012. She created the first national biodiversity database in Bahrain and was a co-founder of the Arab Youth Climate Movement. Wow. Whatever you've done to improve the oceans of the world, it hasn't been a drop in the sea, obviously.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Welcome to the show. The theme of UN World Oceans Day 2020 is Innovation for a Sustainable Ocean. The event will shed light on innovations from around the globe on June 8th, and the areas that will be talked about will be technology, systems infrastructure, research management, consumer products, finance, and scientific exploration. In your opinion, what is vitally needed from some of these categories to help save our oceans?
First off, I'd like to say thank you so much for having me on the show. It's such a pleasure to be here and an honor. So thank you very much. I think with the world evolving and technology being on the forefront, especially in this time that we're living in with COVID-19, it has obviously showed that technology is very important to keep people connected, but not only that, but also to serve the planet. So in that strive, it is important for all of us to realize that we also need to change the way we do business. And so some of the technologies that have come on board to help preserve and conserve oceans is looking at innovative ways of improving some of our sea routes, for example. And sea routes, we know that 90% of the economy is dependent on these sea routes, with cargoes going, people moving about around the world. So one of the things that I'm a big advocate of is, for example, the next time you decide to book your cruise holiday, look at what cruise ship are you boarding? Does that cruise ship is it one of those things where renewable energy, does the whole area run through renewable energy? Does it have the solar panels? Does it have wind turbines? What's the emission rate of your cruise ship? And that's how you as an individual can really contribute towards ensuring that oceans and all the ecosystems that come with it are preserved. So it's our behavior, it's our actions that can make that difference. So not just rely on like governments doing things for you. As an individual, we all have footprints and we are in charge on how much footprint we have in the planet. So this is one aspect of it. So a lot of the different like sea transport system is looking at being upgraded and moving towards a carbon or low carbon emission rate. Yeah. So anytime we think about going out into the sea, let's think about that and how we use these modes of transport. Another thing that we really need is finance. And finance is always environment for some reason, especially in the Arab world. Environment gets the lowest percentage of finance, and on many platforms, not even the lowest, sometimes none. And why is that? Research. In Bahrain, we actually still do not have a center for scientific research that focuses solely on environment. So what is our priority as a country, as an island, as the only Arab nation that's an island? These are questions we have to ask ourselves. So the science is there, but have we brought it? Have we studied the area around us, or are we relying on different people? If we want sustainable oceans, let's look at what we have and how can we work with it.
Talking about studying the matter, it's noteworthy to mention now that you just defended your PhD dissertation and you passed. Congratulations, Dr. Al-Mualla.
Thank you.
Your PhD dissertation, you pursued it through the Coral Reef Research Unit at the University of Essex. You focused on assessing the health of coral reefs in Bahrain, mainly the Arabian Gulf, and the Seychelles Western Indian Ocean. Reem, coral reefs play an integral role in maintaining the balance of the ocean, ecosystems, and healthy fish populations, basically. However, the balance is now disrupted due to major threats. How can Project Bahrain Reef Budget, which was part of your PhD dissertation, and other aspects of your dissertation help in bringing back a healthy balance to the Arabian Sea?
My name is Reem Mualla and I'm a Bahraini marine biologist. I'm really excited to be here today to share a bit more about a very new exciting project that I'm bringing to Bahrain called the Bahrain Reef Budget Project. I'm currently doing my PhD at the University of Essex in marine biology. So the aim of my PhD is to look at the acritial health of coral reefs in the Arabian Gulf, more focused in Bahrain, in comparison to the West Indian Ocean located or focused in the Seychelles. So acritial health is looking at production versus erosion. And a healthy reef would have production more than erosion, whereas an unhealthy reef would have erosion more than production. And so this is what we want to know, whether Bahraini reefs are actually healthy and they're producing and growing their whole structure, or are they actually degrading and eroding, thereby giving us a very gloomy future.
What is the result of my PhD, or looking at the Reef Project Bahrain, Budget Bahrain? The results have shown that actually some of our reefs have already gone into that erosive state, and that rings the alarm bells of something is horribly wrong, and we need to do something to rectify it. On another positive note, the deeper reefs, such as Reef Bulthama, is still in a positive budget, but it's very low. And any tipping of the balance will also pull that down into a negative erosive state. So we need to start looking and thinking about reef restoration. And now when we talk about reef restoration, it is not the traditional way that everybody keeps thinking about, which is having artificial reefs and putting more concrete in the sea, because again, this is not going to work. We've been trying using artificial reef for the last 20 years. Do we not learn from our lessons?
Yeah.
You know, so we need to move into innovative ways of restoring reefs using natural material. We need to start putting natural things back into the sea and not concrete, not artificial things, not dropping random stuff that comes into mind. So that is one aspect. So how is my research contributing to it? We finally know what the rate of calcium carbonate is in terms of production or erosion rate. And now we need to start building our models to predict what's going to happen and thereby help the reef by managing it right and giving it the resilience, building its resilience through the current technologies that we know, the knowledge that we know, and putting in some finance, useful finance.
Reem, at the moment, what are the other ocean initiatives that you're working on in Bahrain?
So currently, I was working on the project Bahrain, Reef Project Bahrain, sorry. I was working on the Reef Project Bahrain, and one of the purposes that I wanted to launch that project in Bahrain is not just to conduct my research, but to start training people who are interested in oceans. They're not scientists, they're just members of the public, to go out with me and to learn the techniques of how to monitor reefs and reef health.
In order to ensure that this project can be completed, if you know or have any sources of funding to help us fund the boats, fund being able to bring more research assistants to help us online, to help train people, to help put material together, please get in touch. If you have any ideas on how to ensure that this project remains sustainable, how we can involve citizens and start citizen science whereby we take citizens into the field to help us collect this data, to help train them, please get in touch with us so that we ensure that in the end of it, it's a whole inclusive project that has included not just us as researchers, but you as the public.
I'm a big advocate of citizen science.
Mhm.
And citizen science should really be pushed forward in the Middle East, because this is something that we are capable to do it. We have keen people, a lot of young people. I mean, we're the area of the world that has the highest percentage of young people. So let's put that energy in. So I'm working at the moment at building local capacity to be able to contribute towards ocean conservation.
Is that where Be Nature comes in?
That is definitely where Be Nature comes in, because having a knowledge platform that is open for the public, built by citizens for citizens, is the way forward. I always say that the most dangerous society is not one that's uneducated and not one that's unaware, because you can always build their awareness and you can always educate them. It is a society that thinks it's aware based on information that is not scientific. That is what's dangerous. And that's where Be Nature's role comes in. Always backed up by science, backed up by studies. It doesn't have to be by the current people. Actually, what I love about reefs is that reefs are made out of layers from previous generation, and every generation puts a layer together, raising it up. And I really believe that education is like that. So it's all the previous generations before me, all the marine biologists in Bahrain, that have built those layers, and without them we wouldn't know. And that needs to come forward. If you ask me, when I first started in the field around 10 years ago, where can I find this? No one knew. I spent about 6 years of my life collating all this information and making it publicly available on Be Nature, which has been really difficult to keep in terms of updating it. And that's where I need citizens to pitch in, because we can only bring that change together.